and good evening, everyone. Welcome into the Jimmy John's pregame show as we get set for another presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danis. I'll be bringing you the action tonight as the Crusaders get set to take on a team that is usually at or near the top of the OAC standings, that being the Pioneers of Marietta College. Before we get to the Pioneers and all that entails with that, let's go ahead and take a look back at the last game for the Crusaders. This came back on last Saturday, and it was a big win for Damon Goodwin's squad as his team took down Mount Union 67. Actually, hold on a minute. I was looking at the wrong score there. 86-74 was the correct final, as Capital was able to race out to a pretty big lead. They led Mount Union 41-24, and despite being outscored 50-45 in the second half, Capital was ultimately able to get a hard-fought win over the Purple Raiders, a team that over the last few years has traditionally dominated Capital, but Capital was able to switch that with a big offensive performance from a couple of key players. First off, got to start with Austin Schreck. Schreck was very, very efficient, going 10 of 14 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from three-point range. He ended up getting 24 points on the night to go along with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And it was also an equally big game for Caleb Cox. He had 22 points, 6 rebounds. He ended up shooting 7 of 8 from the field, and he did a lot of his damage from the foul line, going 8 of 11 from the charity stripe. Will Hanna and Cameron Caldwell also chipped in. Each of those players had 11 points. So with that win over Mount Union, Capital improved to 7-7 in OAC play. They have certainly created some separation from the bottom half of the OAC. They sit in 5th place in the conference at the moment, and we'll take a bigger look at the OAC coming up in the next segment of our pregame show. But looking at the standings right now, Capital 7-7, firmly in 5th place. They're about 2 games out of 4th place. That spot currently being held by Baldwin Wallace. Capital has games coming up against Marietta, obviously, tonight. Baldwin Wallace coming up this weekend. A road game at Wilmington that should be a very winnable game for Capital. And then Senior Day coming up against John Carroll. This will give Capital ample opportunity to move up into that top 4, be one of those top 4 seeds in the upcoming OAC men's basketball tournament. Remember, if you are one of the top, to rest up before.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Dad?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer. They order the sandwich online. And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
You see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show, inching closer and closer to tip-off between Marietta and Capital tonight. Let's now go ahead and take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. This OAC update is brought to you by the Honey Baked Ham Company. At Honey Baked, we believe in celebrating life one meal at a time. That's why every Honey Baked ham is fully cooked and ready to serve, so you can spend less time in the kitchen and more time with family. Call them at 614-764-1717 or visit their location at 6630 Sawmill Road. Here's how the standings look in the OAC as we begin play this evening. John Carroll is your top dog. They are 11-3 within the conference. Right behind them, a pair of teams with equal 10-4 marks. Marietta, the team that Capital is playing here at the Capital Center tonight, as well as Ohio Northern. The Polar Bears and the Pioneers both 10-4. Right behind them, Baldwin Wallace 9-5. They hold that very important 4th and final top seed atop the conference standings. And then 2 games behind them is Capital, who sits in 5th place with a 7-7 mark. Behind them, Mount Union and Muskingum, both 6-8. Behind them, Wilmington and Heidelberg, who are both 5-9. And then Otterbein, they are in the cellar. They are 1-13 within conference play. So still a lot to shake out here as we only have a few more games remaining in the 2017 2018 regular season. And now let's go ahead and tell you who is going to be playing who tonight around the OAC. We will definitely be keeping our eyes on the game involving Baldwin-Wallace. And by golly, Baldwin-Wallace has a big game tonight. They're actually going to be at John Carroll. So if Capital wins tonight and Baldwin-Wallace falls to John Carroll, that will draw Capital to within one game of Baldwin-Wallace within the conference standing. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on that matchup between the Blue Streaks and the Yellow Jackets. Other games around the OAC tonight, Ohio Northern will be on the road. The Polar Bears will be taking on the Student Princes at Heidelberg. Mount Union will play host to Muskingum. Otterbein and Wilmington will play one another. That game taking place at Wilmington this evening. And that is about all the games that are going to be taking place around the OAC. When we come back, you'll hear my conversation with head coach Damon Goodwin. Get his thoughts on this matchup tonight with the Marietta Pioneers here at the Capitol Center. You're listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket. The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Jimmy John's world's greatest gourmet sandwiches, Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way!
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I always get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're gonna need more than two guys, sir.
You're right. What do we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know your
Yes,
house
I
is
did.
on
Grab a
fire?
bucket.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket. Fire department. Sir, did you know you... It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich? Thanks, but tell me something. Shoot. Why didn't you call the fire department first? I did.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show, getting you set for tonight's men's basketball matchup between Marietta and Capital. I'm Charlie Danis, and joining me now, the head coach of the Capital Crusaders, Damon Goodwin. Well, Coach, let's go back to last Saturday, 86-74 win over Mount Union. Austin Schreck had an excellent game, 24 points from start to finish. I think that was his best game as a Crusader. What do you think?
Austin's played really well the last month, so he's really taken it up a notch, and we're certainly he's going to have to continue to do that for us to be competitive in a game like tonight with Marietta. A very good basketball team, and he's had a nice season. We hope it continues.
Caleb Cox also had a nice game, 22 points, 6 rebounds. I think we really shouldn't be surprised to see him put up big numbers like that, considering that the season he's also had.
Yeah, he really has. He's another kid that's improved dramatically throughout the year, and I'm just hoping that we get to a level that we are playing at a high level every game right now. And I feel that in practice we're doing a good job, and we're getting better every day. Our guys are attentive, and they're ready to play. So it's going to be a big challenge for us tonight. Marietta is a very good basketball team. They've won the last couple OAC championships, and we're going to try to take advantage of the opportunity.
We'll talk about Marietta in just a moment, Coach. But first off, 8-2 at home this season. Your team clearly likes to play here at the Capitol Center. What's been behind that 8-2 mark this year?
I think that's a sign of a young team. I think we're just more comfortable here, like most teams are. But the other side of that is we've not done nearly as well on the road, and we certainly have to pick that end up of it. We just feel comfortable here, and our guys are used to it, and that's a good thing. And we certainly have to win home games to be competitive in this league. And it's a step we've taken. I'm not sure our home record was nearly as good as it was last year, or this year as it was last year. I'm sorry, last year.
We're talking with head coach Damon Goodwin here on the Jimmy John's pregame show. So let's talk about your opponent tonight. Marietta, 16-5 overall, 10-4 in OAC play. Why are the Pioneers a perennial OAC contender year after year, it seems like?
Well, they've got really good players. You know, in the past 5, 6, 7 years, whatever their run has been, they've had a lot of good players. And Coach Vanderwalt does a good job. He's a very good basketball coach, but talent-wise, they're as talented as anybody in the league right now.
Let's talk about some of those talented players now. Anthony Walls, 13.6 points per game. Kyle Dixon, 13.1 points per game. Dylan Young, 13.1 points per game. A very balanced offensive attack when I was examining their stats, Coach. What adjustments does your team have to make defensively when you're going up against a team that seemingly has a scoring threat on every position of the floor?
Well, they made a run on us at Marietta a couple of weeks ago. You know, we were up at halftime, went in, they scored about 50 points on us the second half. We just couldn't get a stop. So they're a very balanced team. You know, it's hard to help off people from their standpoint because they can all shoot it and they can all play. And we're just going to have to do a better job one-on-one, keeping them away from the rim and contesting shots and boxing out. And, hopefully if we do those type of things, we'll have a chance.
What makes them tough, particularly this year? The length or the shooting? Or is it a little bit of both this year?
They're a big team, but I don't think they're the biggest team we've played. I think they're just offensively very talented, and it's hard to help off people. It's kind of pick your poison. What are you going to let them do? And they can do about everything. So it's going to be a tough game.
And Coach, before we let you go, any other keys at tonight's game that we should know about?
No, like any basketball game, we need to shoot it. We need to shoot the ball well, and I think we've been shooting the ball pretty well recently. And if we do that, I think we have a chance.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for joining us. Head Coach Damon Goodwin joining us here on the Jimmy John's pregame show. We'll have much more coming up after these words.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's now go ahead and take a look around the Capitol Corner, brought to you by Pepsi. Live for now. Let's talk about the women's team for a moment. Women's team picking up a big win over Mount Union the other day. This is coming back on last Saturday as the women's team took down the Purple Raiders 67-58. Caroline Taphorn had herself a nice game for the Crusaders, totaling 18 points. 6 of 14 shooting from the field, also went 2 of 3 from three-point range, and a perfect 4 of 4 from the foul line to boot. 11 points also for Annika Watchman, and Erin Reisner also had a nice game. She chipped in with 12 points, as well as Carly Hewlett, who was able to score 12 points coming off of the bench. So with the win, Lady Crusaders improved to 8-6 on the season, as we now take a quick look at the standings women's basketball-wise. Capital right there in the middle of the pack, much like the men's team. In fact, they are situated within a three-way tie for fourth place, along with Baldwin Wallace and Mount Union. So still a lot to play for on that side. For the women's team, Dixie Jeffers' crew, they are going to be on the road tonight, and they're going to be taking on Marietta this evening. Women's team for Marietta has been having a very fine season. They're 18-3 overall and 11-3 in conference play, so that ought to be a good one down there by the river, down there at Marietta. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital's opponent here tonight. And that would be the Marietta Pioneers, and this is brought to you by the On the Border Mexican Grill and Cantina. Get your hands on fresh pressed tortillas, chips as big as your head, margaritas worth their salt, tableside guacamole, and fresh border-style foods. Visit our Polaris location at 4175 Morse Crossing today. So, Marietta, as we talked about in the opening of the pregame show, they are a team that is very accustomed to being at or near the top of the OAC standings, and this year no exception, 16-5 overall, 10-4 within OAC play, which has them tied for second place within the conference. Marietta, as in years past, has a very balanced offensive attack. They don't have one dominant player per se. They have a host of offensive players that, when they get it going, they can be very tough to stop on that side of the ball. Anthony Walls, Kyle Dixon, and Dylan Young. These are all young men who average a little over 13 points per game. Let's start with Wallace. Wallace shooting 48% from the field, just under 40% from three-point range. Dixon, he shoots just under 50% from the field and just under 45% from three-point range. Dylan Young, he shoots 50% from the field and at 43% from three-point range. You kind of get the idea. These guys can hurt you in a multitude of ways. Coach Goodwin talked about the fact that compared to teams past, this Marietta team is not as long, probably not as athletic as in teams past, but they can still fill up the stat sheet when it comes to knocking down jumpers. So Young, Dixon, and Wallace, those are the three players that Capital has really got to watch out for tonight. And I'll also throw in a couple of other players who could play a big role tonight for Marietta. Avery Williams shoots 50% from the field, has yet to hit a three-pointer. He's one of their best post players, actually. Williams averaging 11.8 points per game and 7 rebounds per game, so he'll definitely be a factor on the glass this evening. And Devon Wingard. Wingard averages 10.7 points per game. Very good free throw shooter, shoots at 73%. And also, yes, you guessed it, another deep threat that they can count upon from downtown. So Capital has really got to ready themselves for a good defensive effort. Marietta was a team that Capital was actually beating the last time these two teams met. This was all the way back on January 17th. Capital actually held a 1-point lead at the half, but then Marietta turned it on offensively, outscoring Capital 53-38 in the second half of that game. The guy who had the big game for Marietta was Dylan Young. He had 18 points in that last matchup. All 5 of Marietta's starters, by the way, scored 10 or more points. It always helps when you have a lot of guys scoring in double figures, and that was the case for Marietta on that particular game day. When we come back, we will set the table for Capital, how things are looking for the Crusaders as they approach the stretch run of their 2017-2018 campaign. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital tonight. This is brought to you by the Capital Dining Services and One Main Cafe. All right, so a big win for the Crusaders, as we mentioned at the top of the pregame show, as they were able to defeat Mount Union and create a little separation for themselves in the conference standings. What do I mean by that? Well, Capital right now sits in 5th place in the OAC, even 7-7 mark. One game up on Mount Union and Muskingum, who are tied for 6th in the conference currently. Capital now finds themselves 2 games back of Baldwin-Wallace for that 4th and final spot, the spot that would garner them a bye in the upcoming OAC men's basketball tournament. And it would also allow Capital to host a home game during the OAC tournament, which would be rather important considering the Capital has actually played pretty well here at the Capitol Center, going 8-2 thus far. They have really liked playing here, and Coach Goodwin talked about in our interview earlier in the pregame show about how the young players have really taken to Bexley, how they feel comfortable in these surroundings, as you should. You should always feel very comfortable playing on your home court, and that has certainly been the case for Capital. Unfortunately for the Crusaders, not the same thing can't be said for the road. Now, there will be some important road matchups for Capital, but in the meantime, you got to focus on a Marietta squad that's had their number over the last couple of years. We talked in the last segment about how Marietta is very balanced offensively. Well, Capital has been balanced offensively the last couple of games. Austin Schreck and Caleb Cox coming off of huge games against Mount Union. But Will Hanna, he's been very, very solid for Capital offensively, averaging 8.3 points per game. We know Joey Weingartner. He's the type of guy that when he gets that jumper going, he can be very tough to stop. And Cameron Caldwell's also been playing pretty well as well this season. The freshman from Westerville, Ohio, had some trouble with turnovers early on this season, but he has steadily improved as the season has gone on. Capital has got to bring that same intensity offensively that they showcased against Mount Union, particularly in the first half, in order to have any chance to take down Marietta tonight. The Pioneers, a tough team to stop once they get things rolling offensively, so the defensive matchups are going to be very interesting to watch in this game between the Pioneers and the Crusaders. When we come back, we'll have the keys to tonight's game. What will it take for Capital to get yet another win and to continue their push towards one of those top 4 seeds for the OAC men's basketball tournament? I will have my suggestions when we come back. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show.
Current or prospective Capital University students, if you've ever had dreams of becoming a big sports marketer, promoter, agent, broadcaster, or just trying to find your way into the sports industry, join the Capital University Society of Sport Management today. CUSSM is looking for highly motivated, energized, and creative people to help promote Capital athletics and build your resume in the process. This student-led and operated organization will help you earn real-world experience in the area of sport. Get connected and join the CUSSM today. Email Emily Ondo at eondo@capital.edu for more information. Zoe's Cafe in the heart of downtown Bexley, Ohio is a proud supporter of Capital University and Crusader Athletics. Zoe's Cafe is a casual, multi-cuisine restaurant that specializes in breakfast and lunch dishes, but also sports a vibrant outdoor patio and daily happy hour specials. Zoe's Cafe is located at 2376 East Main Street in Bexley, just a few blocks away from Capital's campus, and can be found on Facebook by searching Zoe Cafe Columbus. Zoe's Cafe, proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University Athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Perhaps the most important part of the pregame show, our keys to the game, brought to you by the Marietta Columbus Airport. Elevate your stay at the Marietta Columbus Airport today. First key of the game for me is who is going to win the battle of the boards here tonight. We talked in the last game involving Mount Union about how winning that rebounding battle would be huge. Well, it's going to be an even bigger factor here tonight. Marietta is one of those teams that if you give them second or third chances, they will light you up. They will kill you from the outside. It's going to be imperative for Capital that once Marietta misses a shot, that's it, one and done. Caleb Cox is going to have the game of his life when it comes to rebounding the basketball tonight. He, along with the other bigs, are going to have to be factors for Capital this evening. Second key of the game for Capital, try not to let Marietta get out in transition. Have Marietta work everything from the half court. Marietta is one of those teams that if you let them run up and down the floor, they are going to have you in a heap of trouble. It's going to be imperative for Capital to slow the game down, have Marietta work a lot of clock, try to frustrate them in the half court. If you allow easy buckets in transition, your odds of winning this game are going to go down significantly. And finally, my third and final key of the game, have Austin Schreck get started and have this guy be your offensive leader once again. The Crusaders do so well when Schreck is shooting the ball, when he's passing the ball off to teammates, setting them up for other opportunities. And Schreck can also make a difference on the glass as well, rebounding the basketball. In fact, he averages just over 5 rebounds per game this season. If he can duplicate the same type of performance he had against Mountain Union last weekend, Capital ought to be in very, very good shape. Again, a crucial game for Capital here today. With a win, they would possibly move to within a game of 4th place within the conference. They're trying to get one of those top 4 seeds in OAC play. And if you were listening earlier to the pregame show, Baldwin-Wallace, they got themselves a very tough game tonight as they have to go on the road and take on the Blue Streaks at John Carroll. Logic would dictate that Baldwin-Wallace is ripe for the picking for a loss. So it's going to be a golden opportunity for Capital to move up in the standings while also getting a big, big win over a quality program. Marietta has been one of the best men's basketball programs in the OAC over the last 5 years or so. They are tremendously coached. John Vanderwall has done an exceptional job since taking over as head coach of the Pioneers. It would be a great win here tonight for the Crusaders if Capital found a way to knock off Marietta. You've been listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Just a couple minutes away from tip-off, getting set for a big OAC tilt on a Wednesday night here from Bexley, Ohio, as the Pioneers of Marietta get set to take on your Capital Crusaders. We will have starting lineups and the opening tip-off. When we come back, you are getting set to listen to a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. Capital University has partnered with Aramark to form Capital Dining Services. Stop in for a snack or some Crimson Cup coffee at the Capitol grounds located inside Sailor Ackerman Hall. The Capitol Court is located on the second floor of the Student Union and is open 7 days a week with a variety of meal options. And don't forget about One Main Cafe, located off of the main lobby in the Student Union. Capital Dining Services and all of its locations powered by Aramark are proud supporters of Crusader Athletics. For venue hours and more information, go to capital.campusdish.com.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Capitol Center on the campus of Capital University here in Bexley, Ohio, getting you set for another presentation of men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danis. I'll have the call for you tonight. Let's go ahead and get you tonight's starting lineups. These are brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. First, the starting five for the Pioneers of Marietta College. At guard will be the 6-foot senior from Laurelville, Ohio, number 1, Dylan Young. Also at guard will be the 5'11 junior from Columbus, Ohio, number 4, Mel Schuler. At guard will be the 6'3 junior from Warrensville Heights, Ohio, number 15, Devon Wingard. Also at guard will be the 6'3 junior from Poland, Ohio, number 21, Kyle Dixon. And rounding out the starting five for the Pioneers tonight will be the 6'7 junior forward from Nashport, Ohio, number 42, Avery Williams. The head coach of the Pioneers, John Vanderwall. Now the starting five for the Crusaders of Capital University. At guard will be the 6'3 junior from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 3, Austin Schreck. Also at guard will be the 6'4 junior from Milford, Ohio, number 11, Will Hanna. Also at guard will be the 6-foot freshman from Westerville, Ohio, number 14, Cameron Caldwell. Also at guard will be the 6'2 junior from Centerville, Ohio, number 22, Joey Weingartner. And finally, rounding out the starting five for the Crusaders tonight, the 6'7 junior forward from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 40, Caleb Cox. The head coach of the Crusaders in his 23rd year here at Capital, Damon Goodwin. Now let's get you ready for tonight's opening tip. Brought to you by Zoe's Cafe. Whether it be breakfast or lunch, make it a point to go to Zoe's Cafe, located on 2376 East Main Street, right here in beautiful Bexley, Ohio. Devon Wingard will jump for Marietta. Cox will jump for Capital. Marietta wearing their navy jerseys and shorts with white and gray piping. Gray numbers outlined by white, gray letters as well. Marietta in the scripted cursive. And the Crusaders wearing their customary whites. Purple numbers, white letters. Tip is won by Marietta, and we are underway here at the Capital Center. Dylan Young, senior point guard out of Laurelville, Ohio. Had 18 points in the last matchup between both these teams. He kicks to Schuler for 3. And Schuler promptly knocks it down for Marietta. Just like that. The Pioneers hold a 3-0 lead, and we're not even 20 seconds into the ball game. Schreck inside. Caldwell slashes in, and he got fouled. Looks like they're going to get Schuler for this. So now Caldwell will head to the free throw line. Caldwell with 11 points in that win over Mount Union last Saturday. So now Cam, the freshman from Westerville, up at the free throw line. Shot is up and good, and Capital's on the board. One more free throw upcoming for Caldwell. The shot is up, and it is good. Marietta 3, Capital 2, not even 30 seconds into our ball game. Wingard passing out of some trouble. As Marietta is able to break the press instituted by Capital. Young will kick, is swung around to Wingard. Wingard thought about a 3, but instead goes back to Young. Now on the inside, jumper will roll right on in for Wingard, the junior from Warrensville Heights, Ohio. It's a 5-2 lead for Marietta. Now here comes Caldwell, setting things up in the half court. Dribbles out of a double team, now over to Hanna. They'll get it inside of the big man, Cox, and Cox will have a shot blocked out of bounds, and they'll give it to Marietta. Tremendous defensive play right there by Devon Wingard, as the 6'3 junior was able to block the 6'7 junior, that being Cox. Marietta 5, Capital 2. 18:52 remaining in our first half here at the Capital Center. Dylan Young dribbling around on the left wing. Cox and Hanna double team, and it forces a turnover. Here comes Caldwell. Cross half court. to the right wing. And now Caldwell will pitch it on over to Schreck. 4-3. Schreck knocks it down from the top of the arc. We're knotted at 5 with 18.5 to play in the first half. Kyle Dixon, left wing. He'll dribble in. Oh boy, that's going to be an offensive foul. I thought Dixon was going to be whistled for a traveling, but Capital will take that as well. So an early turnover for Marietta. Capital 5, Marietta likewise, 18-22 remaining in the first half. Caldwell will bring it across the timeline as Capital gets set here in the half court. Schreck on the left wing, passing off to Hanna. Now back to Schreck. Schreck on the inside to Cox. Cox trying to back his man down. Hook shot up, being good for Caleb Cox. Capital has his first lead of the ball game, 7-5. Dylan Young across the timeline. Top of the arc now will bounce it on over to Dixon. Now Dixon will go on the inside of the big man, Avery Williams. Williams has his pass tipped out of bounds. It'll still stay with Marietta, but very active hands that time by Cam Caldwell. Checking into the game for Marietta will be Anthony Wallace. And actually, my mistake, Avery Williams just checked in for Marietta. Almost a near steal that time for Capital. Schuler, 3, no good, and a offensive board by Cox. Boy, a great box out that time by Joey Weingartner. Kept Avery Williams away from that ball. Schreck, double teamed. To Hanna for 3, Will knocks it down from the left wing. Capital's got 3 ball, working early. Crusaders 10, Pioneers 5, 17-14 remaining in the first half. Dylan Young, cross half court. He's at now at the top of the arc, dribbling to his right, being guarded by Hanna, now in the hands of Williams. Williams will pass it off to Schuler. Schuler looking to make a move. Off the glass, and good. Capital 10, Marietta 7, 16:54 remaining in the first half. Schreck bounces it over to Cox. Back to Hanna, swung him around to Weingartner. Joey has yet to get a point here in this game thus far. Hanna, down the lane, and a traveling violation. So a turnover there for Capital. Crusaders leading the Pioneers 10-7 early on with 16:37 left to play in the first half. Young, the point guard, he'll now pass it off to Wingard. Now it's back in the hands of Young on the left wing. They'll go inside. Skip pass over to Wingard, and that shot was partially blocked by Caldwell. Here comes Cam down the other end, and it looks like Caldwell might have gotten bumped a little bit, but no call. Weingartner now will let loose a 3, and that's no good. The rebound taken by Wingard. Wingard will now slow things down for Marietta. Young, cross half court. Young down the lane, and a lot of contact there. Caldwell might have gotten away with a foul right there, but Capital will certainly take it. Skipped on over to Weingartner. Joey for 3. That's no good. And out of bounds, they're going to give it to Capital. 15:57 remaining in the first half. Capital 10, Marietta 7. Schreck will be the trigger man along the baseline. He'll be face guarded by Wingard on this upcoming play. Schreck will get it into Hanna. Now swung around to Cox. Bounced on over to Caldwell. Caldwell over to Schreck. Schreck thought about a 3. Seb pulls it back. Now back in the hands of Caldwell as Capital resets. Now they go on the inside, and Schreck lays it up and in. Nice dime piece that time as Caldwell was able to rifle that in and find Schreck for an easy 2. Capital 12, Marietta 7. Approaching 15.5 to play in the first half. They'll go inside to Wingard, who will attempt to back Cox down. Instead, they go back outside. Wingard dribbling around. Wallace, back over to Schuler. 10 on the shot clock. Dylan Young out towards midcourt, being guarded by Schreck. Now Cox switches with him defensively. Still with Young, 3 seconds. Young up in the air. 3-pointer, that's no good, and the rebound taken by Cox. Thus far, Capital doing a nice job on the boards. They've out-rebounded Marietta here in the early going, 5-2. Schreck, jumper from near the foul line, that's no good. Rebound taken by Wallace. Dylan Young, cross half court. Passed on over to Wallace on the right wing. Schuler thought about a 3, instead Wingard. That's no good. Rebound taken by Weingartner. Here comes Joey across the timeline. Schreck on the right wing. As fans continue to file in here at the Capitol Center, Marietta tends to travel very well, but there's also a strong contingent of Capitol fans here as well. Cox over to Caldwell. 10 on the shot clock for Cam. Cam out towards half court. He'll get a screen from Cox. Double team momentarily. Over to Hanna. Deep three for Will, and that is going to be an air ball, but Cox, I thought for a moment he might be able to save that, but instead it'll be Marietta ball. And both teams with massive substitutions here. Ridge Young and Mike Hall check in for Marietta. Meanwhile, G. Ahaya, Dan Auble will check in for Capital, as will Tyler Jamison and John Burnham. Capital 12, Marietta 7, 14-12 remaining in the first half. So far, Capital shooting about 44% from the field. Marietta 37% from the field. And a foul is going to be called on Capital as Wallace was trying to create some room. Already 2 fouls on Marietta. That'll be the first foul on Capital this game. So now the inbound will be from the far side as Anthony Wallace, a junior from Wheeling, West Virginia, gets it in successfully. Ridge Young being guarded by Auble. So both teams using their second units here. Wallace got pushed. Looks like by Schreck, so very quickly the second team foul on Capital this half. The same as Marietta. 13:48 left to play in the first half. Capital 12, Marietta 7, and now Capital will make another substitution as Tyler Jamison will check out. Jamison clearly frustrated, shaking his head, heading to the bench. Hartman, the freshman from Cincinnati, checking in. So now Wallace will inbound it from the far side once again, and he'll once again get it into Ridge Young, the brother of Dylan Young. Jason Ellis, who also checked into the ball game for Marietta. Passing it over, Ridge Young for 3, and he knocks it down from the corner. Capital 12, Marietta 10, 13:28 left to play in the first half. Auble over to Schreck on the right wing. Now in the hands of Burnham. So Burnham and Hartman, the freshman, getting some extended playing time here. Hook shot by Schreck is good. He's got 7. Capital 14, Marietta 10, 13:10 remaining in the first half. Mike Hall, junior from Belpre, Ohio. Now it's swung on over to Ridge. Ridge Young on the left wing, dribbling around. Now in the hands of Mike Hall. Hall being guarded by G. Hall attempting to back down G. Hall still dribbling around, now back out to Young. 9 on the shot clock for Marietta. Young will get it over to Ellis. Now it's in the hands of Wallace. 2 seconds, 1 second. Wallace not going to be able to get the shot off. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Excellent defense by Capital right there. Coming in for Marietta now will be Kyle Dixon, junior out of Poland, Ohio. He will now inbound it to Dan Auble, who for right now is running the point. Right now it's Auble, Yahaya, Schreck, Burnham, and Hartman out there for Capital. Schreck trying to dribble on in. Now back out to G. 15 on the shot clock for Dan Auble now, who's dribbling to his left. Dan, he'll let loose a 3. That's no good, but G's right there to clean it up. G. Ahaya getting the offensive putback to go in. Capital 16, Marietta 10. Loose ball. Kind of helter-skelter possession so far from Marietta, but now they calm things down a little bit. Hall back out to Ridge Young. Ridge Young falling backwards. That is no good, and the rebound is taken by John Burnham. Auble across the timeline. Auble, top of the arc, over to G. Pass on over to Schreck. 18 on the shot clock for Capital. Schreck trying to get a screen from G. He'll dribble in. Turnaround hook shot is good for Schreck. He's brought his A game so far. The Erlanger Kentucky natives got 9. Capital 18, Marietta 10, 11 and a half to play in the first half. And so far, the pace of this game is really favoring Capital. And it's going to be a turnover for Marietta. The pass from Kyle Dixon never found the hands of Ridge Young, leading to the Pioneers' turnover. Now checking back in for Marietta. Let's see, Caleb Hoying a sophomore from Salina, Ohio, as well as Dylan Young. And Schreck will also take a seat for Capital as Weingartner checks back in. Capital 18, Marietta 10. Capital shooting 54% from the field. Marietta, they're shooting 40%. Hobble, right wing now over to Weingartner. Weingartner, top of the arc. Dribbling around. Jumper for Weingartner, no good, and the rebound is taken by Hoying. Here comes Marietta on the offensive side. Hoying will pass it off now to Dixon. Dixon dribbling in and trying to feed it inside, but it's off the hands of Mike Hall. Checking back in for Marietta now is Devon Wingard. Turnover so far in this game. Marietta has got 5. Capital has only got 1. Weingartner, top of the arc. Over to Abel. Abel dribbling to his right. And now an offensive foul is going to be called. Looks like a moving screen against Joe Hartman. That'll be the third team foul on Capital this half. 10:36 remaining in the first half. Capital's really got to like a start that they've gotten off to here tonight at the Cap Center. 18-10 in favor of the Crusaders. Dylan Young, he'll bring it across the timeline. So it's Dylan Young and Ridge Young. Dylan a senior, Ridge a freshman. Saw a little bit of Ridge, Dylan back in there. Devon Wingard gets fouled by Giahaya. That'll be the 14th foul on Capital this half. Marietta still stuck on 2. And looks like Cox and Hanna will check back in for Capital. Yahaya and Hartman will take a seat. And there are even more substitutions for Capital as Schreck and Caldwell will check back in. Taking a seat will be Burnham and Abel. So the original starting 5 of Schreck, Hanna, Caldwell, Weingartner, and Cox back out there for Capital, who lead Marietta 18-10. Approaching 10 minutes to play in our first half. Tough shot on the inside, goes down for Kyle Dixon. Capital 18, Marietta 12, 10:09 remaining in the first half. Caldwell over to Schreck. Now it's Caldwell on the right wing, passing it off to Schreck, who's had the hot hand early on. He's got 9 points so far. Caldwell over to Weingartner. Hand up, top of the arc, loses the ball, and Hoying comes away with the steal. Dylan Young over to Hoying. Now in the hands of Dixon. Dixon on the right wing, looking to get a screen, not moving. Now Dixon moves to his left. Now a lot of dribbling around by Jason Ellis. 11 on the shot clock. Dylan Young, now with 8 on the shot clock. He's got to get going here. Young, passing it off. Ellis, sells for a 15-footer. That is in. Wow. That must have hit every part of the rim that time, but he gets a shooter's roll regardless. 18-14 in favor of Capital now. Caldwell, passing off to Schreck, swung around the Weingartner. Joey, near the top of the arc. 19 to shoot. Weingartner has his pocket picked. Got a little too fancy there with the ball as Ellis will have his shot blocked by G, but Young is right there to clean it up for Marietta. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Capital. We'll step aside. 9:01 remaining in the first half. Capital 18, Marietta 16. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
9:01 left to play in our first half. It is Capital 18, Marietta 16. This is the men's edition of this game. The women's team for both respective schools, they're going to be getting started in Marietta in about 10 minutes or so, and we will pay attention to that game, keep you updated on how the Lady Crusaders are doing down there in Marietta. A near steal. Caldwell trying to get the ball back for Capital, but Marietta gets it back. Hoying will now hold it for the Pioneers, and that's not the way Capital wanted to start out. Coming out of a timeout. So now Marietta has a chance to either tie this game or take the lead. Capital 18, Marietta 16. 8:40 left to play in the first half. They'll go inside of the big man Hoyne. Being guarded by Weingartner. Hoyne will post up Weingartner and easily score with the right hand. We're not at 18. 8.5 to play in our first half. Capital needing an offensive spark here. Schreck, top of the arc. On the right wing, over to Caldwell. Cam will drive in, but he'll have his shot blocked. Devon Wingard said, nah, not on my watch. Kyle Dixon, over to Wingard. Wingard will drive on in, and an offensive foul. Wingard called for the charge. 13 foul on Marietta this half. Giahaya will check in. John Burnham will also check back in as well. Capital's kind of stagnated here a little bit offensively. Still shooting 47% from the field, but got a little bit cold here the last couple of minutes. Schreck to G. G. He'll try to dribble on in, and he will score. Oh, a strong drive that time by Giahaya, and he's rewarded with 2. Capital 20. Marietta 18. 7:45 left to play in the first half. Mel Schuler over to Wingard for 3. Wingard not able to knock it down. It's tipped around. Hoyne trying to save it into the hands of Burnham. Ahead, up high, and Yahaya not able to slam it home, but he did get fouled on the play by Wingard. So that'll now be the 14th foul on Marietta this half, and G will be heading to the free throw line for a pair of free throws. Yahaya, originally from Abuja, Nigeria, later moved to the U.S., played his prep ball at Wesley Christian High School down in Kentucky. And actually, that will not be a shooting foul, and that's a turnover. Cox simply threw it away. Young will drop it off to Hoyne, and Hoyne will score. Tied at 20. 7:20 remain in the first half. Boy, I could have sworn that Yahaya, when he got fouled, was potentially going up for a shot, but apparently I was wrong. Yahaya, top of the arc, now over to Schreck. Schreck swinging it around to Abel on the right wing. 13 on the shot clock. Abel dribbling to his right, trying to get it over to G. Does so. G with a pump fake. G trying to dribble in. Back outside. Abel for 3. That is missed badly, and the rebound taken by Marietta. Young over to Schuler. Now to Wallace. Wallace dribbling to his left. Schuler. Jumper, no good. G grabs it for Capital. Abel, cross half court. Schreck to G. G for 3, knocks it down. Capital 23, Marietta 20. 6:20 left to play in the first half. Young on the left wing being guarded by Schreck. Now he's being double teamed by both Cox and Schreck. Gets out of it with a pass to Hoyne. Oh boy, a big mismatch right there as Hoyne is being guarded by Dan Abel, who's half his size. Jumper now, no good. Rebound, Cox. Over to Burnham. Burnham, three-pointer, and that's no good. The rebound taken by Dylan Young of Marietta. Young streaking up the floor, and now an offensive foul. Give Burnham tons of credit there, standing his ground. And we have seen a number of charge fouls go against Marietta tonight, really helping Capital this evening. 5:50 left to play in the first half. Capital 23, Marietta 20. Leading scorer for Capital is Austin Schreck. He's got 9. Leading scorer for Marietta, that'd be Mel Schuler. He's got 5. Caldwell, right wing. Bounces it over to Burnham. Burnham now dribbling around, almost lost it. But gets it on over to Schreck. Yahaya dribbling to his left, now over to Schreck. Thought about getting it inside to Cox, almost lost it, and he does. Ridge Young with the steal. Over to Anthony Wallace. Now over to Schuler. Schuler over to Hall. Hall right wing being guarded by G. 16 on the shot clock. Hall will finally pass it off to Schuler. Schuler being guarded by Caldwell. Schuler with 10 on the shot clock. Schuler being double teamed, passes out of it. Hall for three, knocks it down. Capital and Marietta tied at 23, 4:58 left to play in the first half. Caldwell will bring it across the timeline. As Capital looks to regain the lead right here. Caldwell trying to drive, and a foul will be called against Schuler. That'll be the 16th foul on Marietta. One more, and Capital will be shooting in the 1-and-1. Meanwhile, Hanna and Weingartner will check back in for Capital. Burnham and Giahaya will check out. Inside, Schreck, nice move on the inside, and Schreck is already into double figures. He's got 11. Capital 25, Marietta 23. Young twisting, turning, outside of the corner, and a traveling violation. Another turnover for Marietta, their 8th of the night. Capital, however, not that far behind with 7. So both teams have had their struggles controlling the basketball. Right now, Capital leading Marietta 25-23 under 4.5 to play, and what has been a back-and-forth first half. Will Hanna over to Weingartner. Weingartner got fouled. Foul will be called against Anthony Wallace. And now Capital will be shooting free throws as Weingartner will be stepping to the cherry stripe for the 1-and-1. Weingartner has yet to get on the score sheet in terms of points. Shot is up and no good. Rebound taken by Avery Williams. So Weingartner will have to wait a little bit longer before scoring those first few points. Wallace over to Williams. Now back out to Young. 15 on the shot clock. They'll go inside to the big man Williams. Big pass over to Wallace. Wallace spinning, back outside, three-pointer for Hall, and he swishes it through. Marietta regains the lead by 1, 26-25. Quickly ahead, and it's way over everybody's head as the ball is finally corralled by Mike Hall. Capital getting a little sloppy here with the ball. Ridge Young, left wing. Now over to Dylan Young. So both Young brothers are out there on the floor for Marietta at the moment. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Ridge over to Hall. Hall, another long J. Tipped up in the air, and Caldwell eventually comes down with it for Capital. Caldwell, offensive foul. We haven't seen a lot of blocking fouls. Seen a lot of charges here today as apparently Anthony Wallace was able to set his feet. And now Dan Abel will check in for Capital. Cam Caldwell will take a seat. 3:17 left to play in the first half. Marietta 26, Capital 25. Dylan Young will slowly walk the ball up for Marietta. Pioneers shooting 50%, so is Capital. Capital does have the slight edge rebounding, 12-10. Anthony Wallace now over to Williams. Williams inside, back to Williams, and he'll lay it up and in. Nice give and go action that time between Williams and Hall as the Marietta lead goes to 28-25. 2:48 left to play in our first half. Abel over to Schreck. Schreck to Hanna. Hanna over to Weingartner. Three-pointer, no good, and the rebound is taken by Hall. Young, cross half court. Over to Dixon. Dixon trying to get it into Williams, finally does. Williams will try to post up Cox. Sells for a jumper and knocks it down. This has been a nice sequence of plays offensively for Avery Williams, who now has about 4 points. Hanna with 18 on the shot clock as we approach the 2-minute warning here in the first half. It's Marietta 30, Capital 25. Abel top of the arc with 10 to shoot. Dan dribbling to his left. Weingartner for three. Joey not able to knock it down, but the offensive putback for Cox is good. Marietta 30, Capital 27, a minute 40 remaining in our first half. Anthony Wallace will be dribbling to his left. Guarded by Hanna. Swung around to Dixon. Dixon, mid-range jumper, no good. Cox, but another rebound. Cox has already got 8 boards in this game. Cox. Into the hands of Abel. Abel over to Schreck. Schreck now to Hanna. Hanna. Back to Schreck. To Abel with 8. And a foul will be called on the inside against Marietta. That'll be the 18th foul on Marietta this half. Looks like Kyle Dixon will be called for the foul. Checking back in for Capital will be John Burnham. Back in for Marietta now is Jason Ellis. He's a freshman from Marion, Ohio. Run into the 1-and-1 here for Hanna. Shot is up and good. One more free throw upcoming here for Hanna. Checking in for Capital now, making his first appearance tonight is Gavin Wildermuth, the junior out of Jackson Center, Ohio. Weingartner will take a seat on the bench in the meantime. One more free throw for Hanna. It is up and good. Marietta 30, Capital 29. Gia Haya just checking in for Capital. Capital looking to end this first half on a good note. They have played very well on the boards, and they have been staying with Marietta, a team that's been in and out of the top 25 this year. And a block, no, it's going to be a foul against Marietta. Avery Williams called for the moving screen, apparently. That'll be the 19th foul on Marietta. Won't result in a shooting foul, however, or a shooting opportunity for Capital at the foul line, but next foul for Marietta, double bonus for Capital. Weingartner trying to dribble around. Oh, almost lost it. Now there's a scramble for the ball, and there's going to be a timeout that's going to be taken, it looks like, by Capital. John Burnham, the freshman from Toledo, had the presence of mind, while Weingartner still had possession, barely, to call timeout. Heady play that time by the freshman. We'll keep it right here at the Capital Center. 44.2 seconds remaining in our first half. We invite you to join us. Coming up momentarily, the Byers Airport, the Rusty Bucket halftime show. Got to get the sponsors right. We'll check scores around the OAC. Take a look at halftime stats, even name our halftime hero, and more. The Rusty Bucket halftime show coming up. Marietta 30, Capital 29. One game that we are definitely keeping our eye on tonight is Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll. With a win here tonight and a loss by Baldwin Wallace, Capital will move within one game of 4th place within the conference. And right now, believe it or not, it's Baldwin Wallace beating John Carroll 31-26 with a minute 51 remaining in the first half of that game. Yahaya, meanwhile, passing over to Abel. Dan for 3. That's an air ball, but Burnham is there for the offensive rebound. Fresh shot clock. Well, actually, he never hit the rim, so no fresh shot clock. Cox will dribble in, and a foul will be called against Avery Williams. That was a nice head fake that time by Cox, and now Cox will be heading to the foul line. Have an opportunity here to give Capital a 1-point lead. Wildermuth and Schreck getting set to check back in for Capital, as is Cam Caldwell, but first a free throw by Cox. It is up and good. So now Caldwell and Schreck and Wildermuth check in for Capital. Taking a seat for Marietta's Avery Williams, as Hoying comes back into the game. One more free throw for Cox. Looking to give Capital a 1-point lead here with 33 seconds remaining in our first half. Up and good for Cox. He has got 6 points to go along with 8 rebounds. 31-30 in favor of Capital. 25 seconds and counting. About a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And Dylan Young is just going to dribble back and forth and back and forth, trying to whittle down as much clock as possible before this last shot attempt by Marietta. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Young has got to go here. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Young over to Hall. Long three. That's no good. And that is how the first half will end. That shot might have counted by Schreck, but it's off the mark. So just like in the first meeting, Capital will enter the halftime locker room with a 1-point lead. They lead Marietta 31-30 at the break. Coming up, the Rusty Bucket halftime show. We'll check scores around the OAC, look at the halftime stats, name our halftime hero, and more. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
What is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer. They order the sandwich online. And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
You see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome into the Rusty Bucket halftime show. At the half, it is Capital leading Marietta 31-30. Speaking of scores, let's go ahead and get you updated with scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. This OAC scoreboard update is brought to you by the Honey Baked Ham Company. 53 seconds remain in the first half at Heidelberg. The Student Princes trailing the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern 39-32 in that one. They are at the half at Mount Union. The Purple Raiders beating Muskingum in that one 43-29. Wilmington dropped 55 points on Otterbein. They lead the Cardinals 55-28 at the break. And 33 seconds remain in the first half at John Carroll. The Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace leading the Blue Streaks in that one 33-29. John Carroll entered the night leading the OAC with an 11-3 mark. Baldwin Wallace, meanwhile, they got a 2-game lead over Capital for that 4th spot within the conference standings. Again, Capital gunning for one of those 4 spots, getting a bye and also getting a home game to begin the OAC men's basketball tournament. So we will definitely be keeping our eyes on that game. Also in action tonight, the women's team for Capital. They're at Marietta, and the Crusaders leading the Pioneers in that one 9-8. With 4:15 left to play in the first quarter. So far, Capital has gotten a nice game from Aaron Reisner, who has scored 6 of the 9 points for Capital in that one. Dixie Jefferson crew looking for another big win on the road. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will look at the halftime stats, tell you how we have gotten to this point. It's Capital leading Marietta 31-30. At the break, you're listening to the Rusty Bucket halftime show.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. for the VP yearning to be CEO, and for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. Let's now go ahead and examine tonight's halftime stats, brought to you by Planks Cafe. Planks is a family gathering place and a Columbus landmark since 1939. Visit their location, German Village, on the corner of Sycamore and Parsons. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall team stats for both squads. Capital leading Marietta, by the way, 31-30 at the break. Capital shooting 46% from the field, Marietta 50%. Marietta shooting 40% from three-point range, 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Capital, not that great from downtown, 3 of 12, only good for 25% on the night. Free throws, Capital 6 of 7 from the cherry stripe, good for 86%. Marietta, this is actually really surprising, did not shoot a single free throw in that first half. Capital is out-rebounded Marietta, which is very good to see, 16-11 in that particular statistical category in favor of the Crusaders. And in other team statistics, Marietta's got 6 steals as opposed to only 1 for Capital. Blocks, Capital 3, Marietta 2. Assists, Marietta 7, Capital 5. Turnovers, both teams have turned the ball over 9 times. Points off turnovers, Marietta 15, Capital 11. Second chance points, Capital 8, Marietta 2. Bench points, Marietta 15, Capital 7. Points in the paint, Capital 16, Marietta 12. And finally, fast break points, Marietta 2, Capital nothing. So those are the overall team statistics. Now, for the individual statistics for both teams, let's start with Marietta. Leading scorer at the break for the Pioneers was Mel Schuler. He had 5 points on 2 of 5 shooting from the field. Also went 1 of 3 from three-point range. 2 points apiece for Devon Wingard and Kyle Dixon. 4 points for Caleb Hoying. 2 points for Dylan Young. 3 points for Ridge Young. 2 points for Jason Ellis. 6 points for Mike Hall. Oh, excuse me. So Mike Hall was the leading scorer at the half for Marietta. My apologies. And Avery Williams also chipped in with 4 points. Those are all the scores for Marietta. So that makes it, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players have scored at least 1 bucket here tonight for Marietta. They've been getting some very good balance offensively. Meanwhile, for Capital, the leading scorer, our halftime hero, that being Austin Schreck. Schreck shooting 5 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. A grand total of 11 points on the night thus far. Austin Schreck, our halftime hero this evening. Caleb Cox also turned in a very good first half. The big man had 6 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Will Hanna had 5 points. Cameron Caldwell had 2 points. Gia Haya chipped in off the bench. He had 7 points, and that's all she wrote when it came to the scoring for Capital. Tight ball game here at the Cap Center as the Crusaders lead Marietta 31-30 at the break. When we come back, we will revisit our keys and get you ready for the second half here in Bexley. Again, Capital leading Marietta 31-30. You're listening to Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
current or prospective Capital University students. If you've ever had dreams of becoming a big sports marketer, promoter, agent, broadcaster, or just trying to find your way into the sports industry, join the Capital University Society of Sport Management today. CUSSM is looking for highly motivated, energized, and creative people to help promote Capital athletics and build your resume in the process. This student-led and operated organization will help you earn real-world experience in the area of sport. Get connected and join the CUSSM today. Email Emily Ondo at eondo@capital.edu for more information.
Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. Just a couple minutes away from beginning second half action here at the Capitol Center with Capital leading Marietta 31-30. Let's go ahead and revisit our keys that we discussed in the pregame show. The first key of the night, rebounding, controlling the glass. So far, Capital has done a fine job in that statistical category. They out-rebounded Marietta 16-11, with 16 of those rebounds, by the way, being defensive rebounds. They have really given Marietta fits at times offensively, and it's what has really allowed Capital to stay and thrive in this game thus far. Second key of the game, not allowing Marietta to get out and running. Only 2 fast break points in that first half for Marietta, so Capital doing a fine job right there. And finally, the third and final key, having Austin Schreck be the man offensively and be the man. He has done that in spades tonight. Schreck with 11 points on 5 of 7 shooting from the field. Also went 1 of 2 from three-point range, and he also has a couple of assists to boot here tonight. Now, Capital led at halftime by 1 in the last meeting between both of these teams. But Marietta ended up scoring more than 50 points in the first half, allowing the Pioneers to make what looked to be a close game at halftime into a laugher by game's end. I'm sure Capital's head coach Damon Goodwin was talking at halftime about how Capital's really going to need to ramp it up here defensively and to keep that edge when it comes to rebounding the basketball. I was also really impressed with the minutes by Gia Haya. 2 rebounds, one of them being an offensive rebound, 7 points off the bench. Definitely gave Capital a little bit of a lift. One guy that's really got to get it going offensively is Joey Weingartner. Weingartner ended up going 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range. Joey needs to get that jumper going. That will really help Capital if he is able to heat up here down the stretch. Approaching about 2.5 to play, or 2.5, I should say, remaining in our halftime here. Let's go ahead and get you updated once again with how Capital is doing against Marietta. 9:16 left to play in the second quarter up at Marietta. The women's team for Capital leading Marietta in that one 20-14. 8 points for Carly Hewlett. Erin Reisner in a close second when it comes to points. She has got 6 points. Those are the leading scorers for Capital. Marietta, meanwhile, getting a nice game from Corey Burkhart. The women's team looking to pick up another win, improve to 9-6 within OAC play. And they're still very much in the running for one of those top 4 seeds within OAC play. So both teams here at Capital, they have a lot to play for coming down the stretch here as they look to improve their positioning entering their respected OAC tournaments, which will be coming up here near the end of the month. Quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the start of the second half here at Capital. Coming out of halftime, it's the Crusaders 31, Marietta 30. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Jimmy John's, world's greatest gourmet sandwiches, Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way!
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I always get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're gonna need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know your house is on fire?
Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's. Sir, did you know?
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Sir, did you?
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket. Fire department. Sir, did you know it's okay, Captain? I got it handled. Care for a sandwich? Thanks, but tell me something. Shoot, why didn't you call the fire department first? I did.
Back here at the Capitol Center, both teams in their respective huddles as we ready ourselves for second half action here in Bexley. Capitol leading Marietta 31-30 coming out of the break. Jimmy John's is all about fresh food made fast. The bread is served freshly baked and the meats and veggies are sliced in-house every day. Go to jimmyjohns.com and click Order, Eat. And fans, an announcement regarding social media. Capitol Athletics is venturing into another social media adventure called Periscope. You might have heard of it. With Periscope, you can live live broadcast or watch live broadcasts from behind the scenes of Crusaders athletics or anywhere around the world. If you have Twitter, it's incredibly easy to join. Just download the Periscope app on your mobile device, link it to your personal Twitter account, and voila, follow us at Cap Crusaders, and we'll give you a look at Crusader athletics like you've never seen before. That's at Cap Crusaders on Periscope. Second half action underway here at the Capitol Center. Capitol leading Marietta 31-30 coming out of the break. Schreck, he of the 11 points of the first half, dribbling around. We'll go inside to Weingartner. Weingartner has it tipped away, but it's back out to Schreck. 12 to shoot for the Crusaders. Schreck over to Hanna. Hanna dribbling around over to Schreck. 5 on the shot clock. Schreck, step back three. Schreck not able to knock it down, and the rebound taken by Devon Wingard. They'll go inside to the big man Hoying. Schuler back to Hoying, being guarded by Cox. Back to Schuler, 4-3. Schuler knocks it down. Just like that, Marietta regains the lead by 2, 33-31. Not even a minute into our second half. Caldwell, right wing, inside. Oh, and Cox was open, fumbled it away, luckily for him. Capitol will maintain possession. So Schreck will inbound it. Schreck going over his options, and he will get it into Cox, who, oh boy, had to leap high there. Over Hoying. Swung around to Schreck on the right wing. 10 on the shot clock for Austin. They'll go inside to Cox. Cox backing his man down, and a foul will be called against Hoying. First foul of the second half goes to Marietta. 20 seconds put back on the shot clock because of the foul. Schreck to Hanna, now over to Cox, bounced on over to Cam Caldwell. Caldwell top of the arc over to Schreck. Schreck will now drive and will not be able to finish, but gets his own miss and puts it back in. 13 points for Austin Schreck. We're tied at 33. 18 and a half to play in our first half. Dylan Young will drive, he'll kick. Shooting is Schuler. Schuler not able to knock it down, and Cox with another board, his 9th rebound of the evening. Caldwell, right wing. Over to his right, now dribbling to his left, now over to Schreck, and offensive foul will be called. Looks like against Will Hanna. They'll get him for a moving screen. Dan Abel will check in now, and now Cam Caldwell will check out. Capitol and Marietta tied at 33, 18:09 remaining in the second half. Young on the left wing. Young with the floater, and it's good. Marietta 35, Capitol 33. Abel, cross half court. Abel, left wing, over to Weingartner. Over to Dan. Dan drives on in. Had a shot partially blocked by Hoying. Hoying will be called for another foul. Second team foul on Marietta this half, and it looks as though Avery Williams will be checking in for Marietta here momentarily. First, a free throw by Dan Abel, sophomore out of Brecksville, Ohio. Shot is up and good. So now Williams checks in for Hoying. Hoying on the night, he's got 4 points. Williams likewise. One more free throw upcoming for Dan Abel. Shot is up and good. Tied at 35. 17:45 remain in the second half. Young over to Wingard. And Capitol going with some double teaming as they look to put the full court press on. Williams, jumper, and that's no good. Rebound taken by Schreck. Cox was streaking up the floor. Instead, Schreck, kick out to Abel, swung around. Weingartner for three, no good. Rebound is taken by Avery Williams. Boy, there's just something off about Weingartner tonight. Turnover for Marietta, and Schreck comes away with a steal. Wasn't handled cleanly by Devon Wingard, I can tell you that. Schreck over to Weingartner on the right wing. Weingartner, double team, passes out of it. Now over to Hanna. And now a traveling violation will be called against Will Hanna. Interesting. 16:59 remain in the second half. Marietta and Capital tied at 35. Many people around the OAC would call this a low-scoring affair, with many teams averaging into the 80s and 90s. We've seen 100-point games, certainly by John Carroll. Avery Williams, jumper in the lane is good. Marietta back on top, 37-35. 16:40 remain in the first half, or second half, excuse me. Dan Abel, top of the arc, over to Schreck on the right wing. Schreck over to Cox, over to Abel. Abel inside, Schreck down low, twisting, turning, can't get the shot to go. Cox puts it back up, count the bucket and a foul. Schreck was in a very unwinnable position right there under the bucket. He missed his shot, but Cox, being the good teammate that he is, was able to clean it up, and now he has a chance at the three-point play. More importantly, he has a chance to put Capital back up by one. Shot is up for Cox, and no good. 37-all between Marietta and Capital. 16-12 remaining in our second half. So we've got a long ways to go in this one. Inside, Williams. Foul by Cox, and Williams not able to make the shot as he banged the basketball against his forehead in frustration. I don't know what good that'll do you. But nonetheless, Williams heading to the foul line. Williams, a junior from Nashport, Ohio, went to Tri-Valley High School back in his prep days. Shot is up, and that's no good for Williams. Tyler Jamison, Cam Caldwell, and John Burnham will check in for Capital now. Schreck will now take a much-needed breather, so will Cox. Actually, Weingartner will check out, excuse me. They'll keep Schreck out there on the floor. One more free throw for Avery Williams. Right-handed shooter. Shot is up, and that's good. Marietta back up by one, 38-37, 16:05 remain in the second half. Caldwell, left wing. Burnham over to Caldwell on the right wing. Caldwell getting a screen from Jamison. Try to get a pass inside to Jamison, but that was off the, it looked like it was off the foot of Avery Williams. Kind of surprised they didn't call a kick ball right there. Instead, it turns into a Capital turnover. They go inside. Hall misses the layup, tipped around, and now here comes Caldwell. Caldwell, Burnham, thought about a three, now hoists a three. That's no good. Rebound taken by Hall. Marietta 38, Capital 37. 15:25 remaining in the second half. Hall, top of the arc. Over to Dylan Young, inside. They go back to the big man, Williams. And now it's tipped around, out of bounds. It'll stay with Marietta with 13 to shoot. Gia Haya will now check back in. Will Hanna will check out. Kyle Dixon over to Dylan Young. Young, foul by Caldwell. Only the 13th foul on Capital this half. That's the same amount that Marietta has at the moment. 15:10 remain in the second half. Marietta possessing a 38-37 lead over Capital. Dylan Young out towards half court. Over to Hall. Hall inside to now back outside to Young, and Rich Young knocks one down from the corner. Marietta 41, Capital 37. Capital looking for a response. Caldwell. Over to Schreck. Shrek to Jamison. Jamison bounces inside to G. Yahaya. Yahaya trying to back his man down. Back out to Caldwell. Caldwell. Jumper. No good. Williams tipping it. Nope. He was not able to handle it inbounds as he stepped out of bounds. And so now Capital will get the ball back here. 4-point lead for Marietta. Their largest lead was 5 points. That came with 2:19 remaining in the first half. Capital, meanwhile, is led by as many as 8. But for the most part, it's been a back-and-forth game. Caldwell to Shrek. Shrek spinning. Jumper. Good! Austin Shrek now with 15. He has been steady Eddie for Capital tonight. Marietta 41, Capital 39. Once again, they go inside of the big man Avery Williams, matched up with Jamison. Williams not able to put up any sort of shot as Young will dribble in, back out to Ridge for 3, and Ridge knocks it down. Marietta 44, Capital 39, 13:55 remain in the second half. Quickly up ahead to Yahaya, and Yahaya got fouled by Mike Hall. That'll be the 14th foul on Marietta this half, and now G will head to the foul line. G already with 7 points on the night, looking to add to that total. Yahaya's shot is up and good. That brings Capital to within 4. Substitution, Weingartner back in for Capital. Back out is John Burnham. One more free throw for G, looking to bring Capital to within 3. It is up and good. Marietta 44, Capital 41. 13:48 left to play in the second half. Ridge Young out there with Dylan Young, who's dribbling around at the moment. Young dribbling out of a double team. Hall, they'll go inside once again to the big man Williams, and Williams back out. Three-pointer, and that's knocked down by Wallace. Boy, Marietta is really starting to heat up offensively. Marietta 47, Capital 41, 13:22 remaining in the second half. Caldwell, double teamed. Now over to Jamison. Jamison, it's over to Yahaya. Now to Shrek. Shrek, dribbling around, lays it up and in. Austin Shrek, mercy, he's having a ball game. 17 points for the junior. Ridge Young, inside to Williams. Williams, inside Hall, and Hall got fouled by G. Yahaya. So now Hall, the junior from Belpre, Ohio. Right-handed shooter at the foul line. Shot is up and good for Hall. One more free throw for Hall upcoming here, but in the meantime, Cox checks in for Capital, back in for Marietta's Mel Schuler. So far, Marietta's outscored Capital 18-12 here in the second half. Not as big as a margin as it was in the first meeting between both these teams, when Marietta dropped over 50 in the second half. There's an offensive explosion in that game for the Pioneers, particularly after halftime. Marietta 49, Capital 43. 12:48 left to play in the second half. Crusaders have got to get points, but more importantly, they got to string together some defensive stops right here. Shrek got fouled by Anthony Wallace. 15th foul on Marietta this half. Shrek will now inbound it from the baseline. He'll get it into G. G over to Cox. Now over to Shrek. Shrek trying to dribble in. Back out. Cox dribbling in. Tough shot, and Cox with a lot of contact there, but no foul. Hall. Three-pointer. No good for Wallace. With the offensive board by Williams. Turnaround Jay. That's good. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Capital. 12:14 remain in the second half. Marietta 51, Marietta 40. Actually, hold on a minute. It's not going to be a timeout. Well, timeout Capital. We'll try to sort out what just happened there. 12:14 remaining in the second half. Marietta 51, Capital 43. This is Crusaders men's basketball on the Capital Sports Network.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Back here at the Capitol Center, 12:14 remaining in the second half. Marietta with a 51-43 lead over Capital. Speaking of scores, let's check other scores around the OAC. Baldwin Wallace leading John Carroll 42-40 with 13:45 remaining in the second half. Wilmington all over Otterbein tonight. They lead the Cardinals 75-46 with 10:42 left to play in that game. Mountain Union, they are beating Muskingum 56-39, 10:49 left to play in regulation there. And finally, Ohio Northern leading Heidelberg 54-39 with 14:17 left to go in their game. And the women's team, they have gone to halftime. They lead Marietta 35-26. Carly Hewlett with 10 points off the bench for the Crusaders tonight. And Allie Watchman with 9 points for the Crusaders. Well, Capital's been outscored 21-12 here in the second half. Need to string together points, need to get defensive stops here in order to get back into this game against Marietta. Schreck almost has his pocket pick. Jumper, shot will count. Count the bucket and a foul. Austin Schreck now with 19 points. He is putting on a show offensively tonight. Shot is up and good for Schreck. Give him an even 20 on the night. Pulls Capital to within 5. 11:55 remaining in our second half. Ridge Young over to Mike Hall. Back to Ridge Young. Now to Anthony Wallace. Wallace to Mike Hall. Hall. Twisting, turning, wild shot. Cox with the board. Nice defense by Cox. Ahead to Caldwell. Caldwell will now slow things up. Now back to Schreck. Cox to Weingartner. Weingartner to Caldwell. Caldwell, Weingartner to Schreck. 11 on the shot clock. Schreck, 15-footer, no good. Cox, offensive board. Cox, back up and in. Marietta, 51. Capital, 48. 11:07 left to play here in the second half. Mike Hall over to Wallace on the left wing. Wallace will dribble to his right before passing off to Mel Schuler. Schuler with 15 on the shot clock. Now it's swung around to Wallace. Wallace being guarded by Caldwell. Wallace dribbling in. Tough shot, no good. Williams, offensive board. And then Giahaya lands on the back of Williams, who now is slow to get up. Boy, Williams starts to get up. To stretch things out a little bit as now Dylan Young will check back in, taking in the place of Ridge Young out there. And Caleb Boyne will check back in as well for Marietta. And also checking back in for Marietta is Devon Wingard. .10:46 left to play in our second half. Marietta leading Capital 51-46. And now a timeout taken by Marietta. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will stay right here at the Cap Center, at least for the moment. Check up some individual statistics. Austin Schreck with 20 points. He has shot 9 of 15 from the field, 1 of 3 from three-point range, 1 of 1 from the foul line. It's also been a good game for Caleb Cox, who already has a double-double, 10 points, 12 rebounds. He shot 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the foul line. Leading scorer for Marietta is Ridge Young He's got 9. Right behind him is Mel Schuler, who's got 8. Mike Hall's got 8 points. Avery Williams has got 9 points. Marietta 51, Capital 48, 10:46 left to play in the second half. Dylan Young will inbound it for the baseline. Now to Hoying, to Wallace. Wallace driving in. Shot is missed. Loose ball. And they're going to get G. Yahaya for a foul. Boy, that could have gone either way right there. So Yahaya hit with the foul, but more importantly, Marietta getting the ball back, as now Will Hanna will check back in. Yahaya will be forced to take a seat. Three-point lead for Marietta. Dylan Young will inbound it to Hoying. Hoying over to Wallace. Wallace twisting, turning, jumper will be short, but he got fouled by Weingartner. Frustrating night continues for Joey Weingartner. He has shot 0 of 5 from the field. Has yet to hit a three-pointer. And a frustrating foul right there. So Wallace will head to the foul line and knock down the shot. One more free throw upcoming for Wallace, who hails from Wheeling, West Virginia. Shot is up and good. It's now a 53-48 advantage for Marietta. 10.5 to play in regulation. Weingartner to Schreck. Hanna, left wing. Caldwell now with the ball, passing off to Schreck. Over to Hanna. Hanna inside. Cox makes the catch, up and in. Brings Capital to within 3, 53-50 in favor of the Pioneers. 10:07 left to play. Dylan Young to Schuler. Back to Hoying. Hoying backing Cox down. Hoying! Shot is up and good. It is Marietta 55, Capital 50. 9:50 left to play in the second half. Schreck to Hanna. Hanna passing over to Weingartner. Schreck to Hanna. Hanna along the right block. Looking to back his man down. Jump hook is good. Marietta 55, Capital 52. 9:25 remaining in regulation. Mel Schuler inside. Hoying. And it's going to be a charge. Hoying was pointing at the ground saying that Caldwell got away with a flop that time. But the foul will go against Hoying. And that will be the 16th foul against Marietta. Capital already with 7. I have a feeling the free throws might decide this one down the stretch. So a lot of game left to be played, though. 9:21 remaining in our second half. Marietta 55, Capital 52. Caldwell will bring it across the timeline. Over to Weingartner. Joey. Jumper from the foul line. No good. As the tough offensive night for Weingartner continues. Young dribbling in to Williams. Now over to Mel Schuler. Schuler on the left wing. Over to Kyle Dixon. Back over to Dylan Young. Young driving. Back out to Schuler for 3. Schuler not able to get it to go, and Caldwell with a rebound. Capital can tie it here. Oh, it's over the head of Will Hanna. Turnover for the Crusaders. Dan Abel will check back in. Cam Caldwell will check out. Marietta still with a 3-point lead, 55-52. 8:38 left to play in the second half. Dylan Young, top of the arc, guarded by both Schreck and Cox. Almost a throwaway there. Now an open 3, and it's promptly knocked down by Kyle Dixon. Marietta 58, Capital 52, 8:17 left to play in the second half. Dan Obel being guarded by Schuler. Schreck, top of the arc. Inside. Cox. A foul will be called against Devon Wingard. Checking in for Marietta, Rich Young. That's my call. As Cox getting set to go to the foul line. He's the double-double man for Capital tonight. 12 points, 12 rebounds for the junior from Cincinnati. Shot is up and misses the front end of a 1-and-1. It remains a 58-52 lead for Marietta. 8 minutes left to play in the second half. Dylan Young over to Kyle Dixon. Dixon dribbling in, being guarded by Weingartner. Pass back out to Dylan Young. Dylan Young, guarded by Schreck. Palming the basketball. Wow, you don't see that called all that often, but that's the call, and Marietta turns it over. Cox, meanwhile, will check out. Back in is Tyler Jamison. 7:45 left to play in the second half. Marietta 58, Capital 52. Dan Obel on the right wing. Schreck, top of the arc, over to Weingartner, inside to Jamison. Jamison, twisting, turning, jump hook is good. Brings Capital within 4, 58-54, 7:20 left to play. Defensive stop here would be huge for Capital. Young, top of the arc. Over to Ridge Young. Inside of the big man Williams. Being guarded by Will Hanna. And a charge will be called. Boy, one thing that you always ask about the referees of any game, whatever sport it is that they're consistent. And the referees tonight have consistently been calling charges. I haven't seen a lot of blocking fouls tonight. And that has gone for both teams. Dan Obel, right wing, over to Schreck. Schreck, Weingartner, jumper, no good for Joey. Boy, man, it has just not been Weingartner's night tonight. Dylan Young, left wing, over to Ridge Young. Ridge, over to Dylan, inside to Williams. Drive on the inside. Shot won't go, but free throws upcoming here for Kyle Dixon. Weingartner called for the foul, and that will be Capital's 8th team foul. So this will be the front end of a 1-and-1 for Kyle Dixon. Dixon's shot is up and good. Actually, wait a second, the shooting foul, excuse me, that wasn't the front end of a 1-and-1. 2 foul shots. Dixon makes the first. Second one upcoming here. Dixon's shot is up and good. Marietta 60, Capital 54. Approaching 6.5 to play in regulation. Hanna over to Dan Obel. Dan Obel on the right wing. Weingartner. Hanna dribbling in. Hanna lost it. Dixon with the steal. Quickly up ahead for Marietta. Dylan Young on the right wing. Over to Ridge Young. My call. Over to Dixon. Dixon dribbling around. Lets loose a 3. That's no good. And the rebound chased down by Dan Obel. Obel cross half court. On the left wing over to Schreck. Schreck gets a screen from Hanna. Schreck trying to drive, and Schreck lost it out of bounds, but off of Williams for Marietta, so Capital will maintain possession. Meanwhile, Hanna will check out. Giahaya back in. Inside to Jamison. Now back out to Obel. 15 on the shot clock for Capital. Dan will get it in the hands of Weingartner. Now over to Schreck. Schreck, top of the arc. Swung around to Obel. Obel for 3. Air ball. Williams with the rebound for Marietta. Dylan Young, 3-pointer. No good. Weingartner with an excellent blocks out. Weingartner, other end, Abel for three. That's another brick. And the rebound is no good, or the rebound is good for Marietta. Approaching 5 minutes to play here in the second half. Capital 50, or Marietta 60, Capital 54. Foul called. Austin Schreck will be whistled for the foul. That will be the 19th foul on Capital this half. Cam Caldwell checking back in, as well as Cox. And boy, you just feel like this game is slowly but surely slipping away from Capital. Kyle Dixon now with a 1-and-1. Shot is up and good. One more free throw upcoming here for Dixon. Second free throw good. 8-point lead for Marietta. 62-54. 4:48 left to play in the second half. Caldwell on the right wing, or the left wing, excuse me. Caldwell dribbling in. Pass out. Weingartner for three. No good. And the rebound taken by Marietta. Man. Weingartner now 0 of 8 from the field. Dylan Young. Now fouled by Caldwell. Actually on Weingartner, excuse me. Dylan Young at the foul line. Shot is up and good. Marietta 63, Capital 54. And with the made free throw, Young has now made it a 10-point advantage. Largest lead of the game for Marietta. 4:21 remaining in regulation. Do the Crusaders have one last run in them? Schreck will be driving, and a blocking foul is going to be called. That will draw the ire of all the Marietta fans that have made the trip. So now Capital in the double bonus. Two free throws here for Schreck. Trying to cut into this Marietta lead. Shot is up and good. One more free throw for Schreck. It's up and good. Marietta 64, Capital 56. Crusaders down by 8. Now they really go for the press defense. Young, double teamed. Inside to Williams. Wild shot, no good. Cox with the rebound. His 13th board of the night. Capital needs a bucket here. Schreck. Yahaya, pump fake. Driving in, twisting, turning. Yahaya, floater is good. Marietta 64, Capital 58. Young will bring it across half court. Kind of surprised the Capital didn't go with the full court press once again. Young dribbling around. It's tipped around. There's a battle for it. And they say that it went off of Weingartner, out of bounds. Marietta will maintain possession with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Mel Schuler will check in for Marietta. Von Wingard also in there for Marietta. Pioneers 64, Crusaders 58, 3:23 left to play in regulation. Mel Schuler will inbound it right in front of the Marietta bench. Into Dylan Young. 8 on the shot clock. Young, top of the arc, dribbling around. Boy, he's got to go here. 3 seconds. Young, floater, off the glass and in. An exemplary move that time by Dylan Young. The lead is back up to 8 for Marietta. Austin Schreck, right wing. Three-pointer. Schreck knocks it down! And a timeout taken by Capital. We will step aside. 2:50 left to play in regulation. Marietta 66, Capital 61. This is Crusaders men's basketball on the Capital Sports Network.
Zoe's Cafe in the heart of downtown Bexley, Ohio is a proud supporter of Capital University and Crusader Athletics. Zoe's Cafe is a casual, multi-cuisine restaurant that specializes in breakfast and lunch dishes, but also sports a vibrant outdoor patio and daily happy hour specials. Zoe's Cafe is located at 2376 East Main Street in Bexley, just a few blocks away from Capital's campus, and can be found on Facebook by searching Zoe Cafe Columbus. Zoe's Cafe, proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
2:50 remaining in our second half. Marietta leading Capital 66-61. Some score updates for you. We have one final to pass along. Wilmington all over Otterbein tonight, 101-59 as the very tough season for the Cardinals continues. 3:52 left to play in the second half at Heidelberg. The Student Princes trail the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern 66-58 in that one. A game that is just about to go final. Mount Union leading Muskingum 81-61 with 33 seconds to go in that game. And finally, John Carroll leading Baldwin Wallace 61-53. 4:58 left to play in the second half of that ball game. As we have talked about seemingly ad nauseum tonight, with a Baldwin Wallace loss and a Capital win here tonight, the Crusaders will draw to within a game of the Yellow Jackets, who currently hold fourth place within the conference, as Capital continues to pursue that fourth seed in the upcoming OAC men's basketball tournament. Capital with a little bit of a press. Marietta's able to break it, however. Marietta 66, Capital 61. Approaching 2.5 to play. Capital down by 5. They need defensive stops here in the worst way. Schuler over to Young. Young on the right wing with 10 on the shot clock. Young will get a screen from Williams. Young driving, kicking. Schuler with 2, and the layup is good. Marietta 68, Capital 61, 2:12 remaining. Capital needs a bucket here. Caldwell, kick, Yahaya along the baseline, and count the bucket and a foul. Mel Schuler called for the blocking foul on the Yahaya drive. By the way, Yahaya with 11 points on the night. Job well done for that young man coming off the bench. So now Yahaya will step to the foul line, looking to move Capital to within 4 of Marietta. Shot is up and good. 2:03 left to play in regulation. Marietta 68, Capital 64. They'll go inside to Williams, drop off, and count the bucket and a foul. Caldwell was late getting back on defense. Meanwhile, Devon Wingard took care of the rest, laying it up and in, and now he'll have a shot at a three-point play. That hurts. It hurts in the worst way for Capital. So now Wingard at the foul line. Shot is up and good. Marietta 71, Capital 64. Minute 50 remaining in regulation. Again, Capital needs a score. Caldwell inside. Cox up and in. Marietta 71, Capital 66. Minute 38. Boy, a turnover here would be huge. The Capital will not get it with the press defenses. Marietta's able to break it. And it seems as though the Marietta is just fine running some clock here. Dylan Young dribbling around, double team by Cox. Inside, and a foul's going to be called against Joey Weingartner. Weingartner just simply ran into Devon Wingard that time during that sequence, and now Wingard will head to the foul line. Double bonus. Wingard, shot up and good. That puts the Marietta lead to 6. Now trying to make it a 3-possession game. Shot is up and good. And now a timeout will be taken by Marietta. Again, we'll keep it here at the Cap Center. A minute 19 remain in the second half. Marietta 73, Capital 66. That's the score for our men's game. Meanwhile, the women's game, right now it's Marietta 46, Capital 44, with 3:49 left to play in the third quarter of that game. Capital being led offensively by Carly Hewitt, who's got 10. 9 points for Aaron Reisner. 9 points also for Annika Watchman. Marietta, meanwhile, being paced offensively by Corey Burkhardt, who's got 13. And another OAC scoreboard update for you on the men's side, as another game has gone final. Mountain Union defeating Muskingum 81-64. 1:37 left to play in the second half at Heidelberg. Ohio Northern leading the Student Princes 69-64 in that one. And finally, 3:13 remaining in the second half at John Carroll. The Blue Streaks starting to pull away in that one. They lead Baldwin Wallace 67-56. And a reminder, please be sure to join us after tonight's game for the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Take a look at the final stats, name our player of the game, and much more. And it's all coming up on the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show following tonight's game. Marietta 73, Capital 66. Well, Capital's going to need a heck of a run here to make this game interesting, perhaps force overtime. They had a big win over Mountain Union on Saturday. They've gone 8-2 here at the Cap Center this season. They're now in danger of dropping 8-3 at home. Cam Caldwell over to G. Yahaya. G dribbling on in, floater, no good. Cox offensive board, put back, and count the bucket and a foul. My goodness, Cox has ended up having a huge game for Capital. 16 points on the night for Cox to go along with 13 boards. Shot is up and good for Cox. Marietta 73, Capital 69, a minute 6 remaining in the second half. And by the way, an update on the foul situation. Weingartner and Yahaya both have 4 for Capital. Meanwhile, Hoying and Wingard both have 4 for Marietta. .51 seconds and counting. Capital needs a defensive stop here. Wingard will dribble in. It's a tie-up. Wildermuth goes to the floor, jump ball, and oh boy, the possession arrow favors Marietta. .45 seconds remain in regulation. Capital trailing Marietta 73-69, and yet another timeout. We'll step aside. When we come back, hopefully Capital can mount a comeback here. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
.8 seconds remain in regulation. Marietta leading Capital 73-69. Marietta's got the ball. They got 10 seconds to shoot. Right now it's a 2-possession game. Capital needing a defensive stop. Dylan Young, the senior from Laurelville, Ohio, will be the trigger man for Marietta. He'll inbound it from the baseline. Yahaya, Wildermuth, Jameson, Caldwell, and Schreck out there on the floor for Capital. Things getting a little chippy down there with Jamison and Williams. And now a foul will be called. Looks like against Jamison. Well, at the very least, it stops the clock. So now, Williams will head to the foul line. Avery Williams, a junior from Nashport, Ohio. Shot is up and no good. Cox will check back in, as will Weingartner. One more free throw upcoming for Williams. Shot is up, no good. But game remains a 4-point lead for Marietta. 38 seconds. Yahaya inside. Cox turns around, got fouled. Stops the clock with 35 seconds. So Cox at the free throw line. Looks like Jamison and Wildermuth are getting set to check back in for defensive purposes. And this will be the double bonus here. Shot is up. Cox misses it. Wildermuth checks back in. Weingartner, meanwhile, will check out. One more free throw for Cox. It is up. And, it's no good. He missed both. Caleb Cox has done such a great job from the free throw line this year, but comes up empty. Does Capital have one more stop defensively left in them? It's going to be a foul. Cameron Caldwell tried in vain to block that shot by Devon Wingard, but it won't matter, so now Wingard will head to the foul line. Shot clock's been turned off, 21.9 seconds to go. And Wingard needs a moment there. Well, he might have gotten hit in the face that last time, actually. Wingard with 2 shots here. Already got 7 points. Make it 8. Anthony Wallace and Mike Hall check back in for Marietta. Meanwhile, Weingartner back in for Capital. It's 74-69 in favor of Marietta. Shot is up and good for Wingard. So now Brennan Chukran will check in for Capital. Giahaya will check out. Capital just needs to start jacking up threes. Schreck for 3. Good for Schreck. It's a 3-point ball game. Capital's still alive. 14 seconds to go in regulation as Capital takes a timeout here. All right, so Marietta beginning the ball here. Possession arrow favoring the Pioneers. Both teams in the double bonus. Capital down by 3. Capital's got to find a way to get a turnover very quickly. If they don't, they have to foul. An update on the foul situation for both teams. Caldwell, Weingartner, and Yahaya each have 4 fouls for Capital. Meanwhile, Marietta, Devon Wingard has 4, as does Caleb Hoyne and Mel Schuler. Damon Goodwin trying to draw something up there in the huddle. Meanwhile, check of the women's game once again. It's Marietta leading Capital 52-46. Minute remain. Well, actually, hold on a minute. As my stats continue to update here, they've actually just gone to the 4th quarter in that game, with Marietta leading 57-41. 8:42 left to play in the 4th quarter. More scores around the OAC when it comes to the men's game. Another game that's gone final. It's Ohio Northern defeating Heidelberg 74-67. 57 seconds remain at John Carroll. The Blue Streaks leading Baldwin Wallace 72-65. Both teams back out there on the floor now. 14 seconds remain. Marietta with the ball. Capital down by 3. Inbounding the ball will be Devon Wingard, who's got 4 fouls for Marietta. Wingard will get it into Young. Young, now almost a steal, but it went off the hands of Caldwell. Clock stopped at 11.6 seconds. Wingard once again will be the inbounder. And a foul will instantly be called. Looks like Anthony Wallace might have gotten held that time. And so now Wallace will head to the foul line. It's a one possession game at the moment, but Wallace looking to make it a 2-possession game. Wallace on the season, 85% free throw shooter. He's pretty good. Shot is up, and it's good. If Wallace misses, Capital remains alive. All they have to do is go down and drill a 3. If he makes this one, it'll probably be the icing on the cake for Marietta, and he does. Checking back in for the Pioneers will be Mel Schuler. It's a 77-72 game. Caldwell quickly up the floor. He'll drive, and he'll dunk it! He'll slam it home! And now a timeout will be taken by Capital. Boy, oh boy, Caldwell just came down the lane and let loose some anger that time. It's once again a 3-point ball game. 5.9 seconds remain. Well, give Capital credit. They have battled, they have scrapped. They are alive. They need a turnover in the worst way. Coach Goodwin drawing up another play. One more check of scores around the OAC. 44 seconds remain in the second half. John Carroll beating Baldwin Wallace 74-67. All other games have gone final. Ohio Northern over Heidelberg, Mount Union defeating Muskingum, and Wilmington beating Otterbein. And another check of the women's game. Marietta 60, Capital 51, with about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of that one. Gavin Wildermuth, Austin Schreck, Tyler Jamison, Gia Haya, and Cam Caldwell will be out there on the floor for Capital. Young, Wallace, Dixon, Wingard, and Hall out there for Marietta. Wingard will try to get it in. Face guarded by Jamison. And now a timeout will be taken by Marietta. They have one timeout remaining. Capital is out of timeouts. So now both teams will reassess the situation here. Again, a reminder, coming up after our game, the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Following the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll look at the final stats, scores around the OAC, name our player of the game, and more. Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Coming up after the conclusion of our game. Marietta 77, Capital 74. 5.9 seconds left to go in regulation. Wingard trying to get it in. Having trouble. Into Wallace. Wallace immediately fouled by Jamison. Well, now Wallace will have a chance to basically ice this game. Trying to make it a two-possession game. Wallace, an excellent free throw shooter. On the night, he's got 7 points. Shot is up and good for Wallace. That makes it a 4-point game. Shupran, Weingartner, and Cox check back in for Capital. One more free throw for Wallace. Shot is up and good for Wallace. Marietta 79, Capital 74. Capital needs a miracle. They're going to try for the long pass, try to heave in a three-pointer. Shupran up ahead to Weingartner. Weingartner, three-pointer, no good. And that is out. The ball game ends tonight. Final from the Capital Center. Marietta 79, Capital 74. You've been listening to a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. Coming up, the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Again, Marietta defeats Capital 79-74. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team for the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Blank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Welcome into the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Marietta comes into the Capital Center and defeats Capital tonight 79-74. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's final stats. These are brought to you by the On the Border Mexican Grill and Cantina. Let's start with overall team stats for both teams. Capital shot 50% from the field. Marietta shot 51% tonight from the floor. Capital only 24% from three-point range. They went 5 of 21 from downtown. Marietta, meanwhile, 9 of 20 from beyond the arc, good for 45%. Capital shot 15 of 20 from the free throw line, good for 75%. Marietta, meanwhile, 20 of 23, good for 87%. Teams dead even in the rebounding category, 28 apiece. 8 steals for Marietta, 2 for Capital. Blocks, 3 apiece for each team. Marietta, 12 assists as opposed to 8 for Capital. Turnovers, both teams turned the ball over 14 times. Points off turnovers, Marietta 22, Capital 15. Second chance points, Capital 14, Marietta 6. Bench points, Marietta 37, Capital 18. Points in the paint, Capital 40, Marietta 26. And not a lot of fast break points to go around in this game. Marietta 2, Capital nothing. Now under our individual statistics. Marietta was led offensively tonight by Mel Schuler. He had 10 points. 9 points apiece for Devon Wingard and Kyle Dixon. 6 points for Caleb Hoyne. 8 points for Dylan Young. 9 points apiece for Ridge Young and Anthony Walls. 2 points for Jason Ellis. 8 points for Mike Hall. And Avery Williams had 9 points. And now the individual statistics for Capital. Let's first start with our player of the game. This is brought to you by Donato's Pizza. And that honor goes to Austin Schreck. Schreck with 28 points on the night. 11 of 17 shooting from the field. 3 of 5 from three-point range. 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Also a big game tonight for Caleb Cox. He had 17 points and 13 rebounds. He shot 7 of 9 from the field. Will Hanna with 7 points on the night. Cameron Caldwell with 4 points. 14 points off the bench for Gia Haya. 5 of 5 from the floor. And now we're joined by head coach Damon Goodwin here tonight. Joining us here on the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Coach, Marietta, we talked about how the Pioneers are so good offensively here tonight as we're getting things set here. We're going to take a quick commercial break to get things settled here technologically wise, and we'll be back.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guys' night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
And we're back here at the Capital Center, joined by Damon Goodwin after Capital falls to Marietta 79-74. Coach, we talked in the pregame show about how Marietta is so balanced offensively, and they showed it here tonight with a whole bunch of players scoring 9 points.
Because they just all can shoot it. They shot good percentages from the field and 3 in the line, and we just had a couple guys made some silly turnovers, and had a couple guys that couldn't make a shot tonight. So you have to shoot a little bit better to beat a good team, and we just didn't get it done tonight.
Austin Schreck, meanwhile, turned in another fantastic performance with 28 points. Caleb Cox with 17. But how about Gia Haya coming off the bench with 14? He was a good surprise tonight.
Well, we had to have him. We had a couple starters that just, like I said, just didn't have it tonight. And he came in and he gave us a lot of energy. He played hard and he gave us a big spark there. We only had 5 guys score, I think, something like that. And we need more input from other guys off the bench than what we got tonight.
Do you need the bench to improve going forward here as we approach the stretch run?
Yeah. Other than G, we can't go 1 for 10 or whatever they did. And as I said, tonight we had a couple starters that just didn't have very good nights shooting a ball, and had a couple turnovers that were basically, I thought we rushed our offense, and when we did that, we had empty possessions, and we just can't have empty possessions like that.
So your next game will be on the road at Baldwin Wallace. Always a tough team. Quick preview.
Yeah, they're really good. BW, Marietta, Carroll, Ohio Northern, all 4 of those teams at the top of our conference are very good. They're very big. They're very strong, and we're going to have a very physical game. So they beat us pretty good down here in December, and hopefully we'll have a better showing.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Head Coach Damon Goodwin joining us here on the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. This team falling to Marietta 79-74. Let's continue our statistical analysis as we get back to the individual stats for Capital. As we mentioned, Austin Schreck, tonight's player of the game, with 28 points on the night. 17 points for Caleb Cox with 13 rebounds. 7 points for Will Hanna. 4 points for Cameron Caldwell. 14 points for Gia High off the bench. And 2 points each for Dan Obel and Tyler Jamison. That was it when it came to scoring for Capital. Now let's go ahead and get you updated with scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. All games have gone final at this point. So let's go ahead and run through the scores. First off, Ohio Northern defeating Heidelberg 74-67. Mount Union with a home victory over Muskingum 81-64. Wilmington blows the doors off of Otterbein 101-59. And finally, John Carroll takes care of business against Baldwin Wallace, defeating the Yellow Jackets 77-70. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the Capital scoreboard brought to you by Peking Dynasty and tell you how the women's team is doing. And right now, things are getting late a little bit as Capital trails Marietta 75-67. 45 seconds remain in the fourth quarter of that one. Individual stats now, Capital being led offensively by Alphone, who has 16. Marietta, meanwhile, being led offensively by Brooke Borich, who has got 20 points on the night. So let's go ahead and tell you our upcoming broadcasting schedule for both women's basketball and men's basketball. The women's team is going to be here at home, and I am proud to say that I will have the call for that one. I'll fill in for my compatriot Jimmy Bloomfield that afternoon, and that is actually going to be senior day for the women's squad as they take on the Yellow Jackets. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for a 3 o'clock start, which means that we will get things started with the Jimmy John's pregame show beginning at 2:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the men's team, they're going to be on the road for their next couple of games. They're going to be at Baldwin Wallace on Saturday. They're going to be at Wilmington next Wednesday. So that means the next time that you will be hearing me call Capital Men's Basketball will be not next Saturday, but the following Saturday when the men's team plays host to John Carroll. That is going to be on February 17th. So that's actually going to be next Saturday, excuse me. That game, by the way, has been moved up. It used to be a 2 o'clock tip, but they moved it up to a 1 o'clock tip. So we're actually going to be getting things started with the Jimmy John's pregame show beginning at 12:30 for that game. Tip-off is scheduled for 1 o'clock. So women's game on Saturday starting at 3 o'clock, and men's game coming up on February the 17th. That'll be senior day for both respective squads. Those next couple of games that I will be calling here at the Capitol Center. With the win tonight, Marietta improves to 17-5 overall and 11-4 within OAC play. Meanwhile, with the loss, Capital drops to 11-11 overall and 7-8 within OAC play. This is Charlie Danis saying one final time. The final score tonight from the Capitol Center, it's Marietta 79, Capital 74. So long and good night from Bexley, Ohio.